Chapter 30. Welcome to Poland by Justin Rosales. Takeoff. The following morning, I woke up at 3:30 a.m. I started my day by printing out my plane tickets and playing a little guitar. By 7 a.m., my parents were up and I could hear them discussing me in the kitchen. I walked in and hugged them both. I could tell that they were terrified of the possibility of losing their firstborn child, but I could also see it in their eyes that they were proud of who I had become. They both hugged me and told me that they would pray for my safety. My mother made me breakfast while I said farewell to my sleeping siblings. I hugged each of them goodbye as if it was the last time I was going to see them. I didn't know what the next week would hold, but I hoped it would eventually bring me back to them. After eating breakfast, my dad hugged me and said goodbye and told me that he loved me. It was a rare occasion for him to show emotion, but his timing meant a lot. My mother would be driving me to the airport, so we said goodbye to my father and went on our way. My mom cried numerous times on the drive there. Between telling me how much she was proud of me and how much she was going to miss me, there were many tears. I appreciated her kindness and openness, but my mind was in another world, particularly Europe. My body was filling with excitement, even though it would still be many hours before I reached Amsterdam. I was ready. When we arrived at the airport, things moved rather quickly. While checking in my bags, the woman who was doing the processing saw the sadness in my mother's eyes and gave her a special pass that would admit her beyond security to see me off at my gate. It seemed unnecessary, but my mother was very grateful. I comforted my mother while I waited at my gate for my plane to arrive. She then began telling me everything she thought I needed to know to remain safe in a foreign country. Don't talk to strangers, always watch your belongings, always have your passport on you. They were things I already knew, but I patiently listened to her advice. Besides, I honestly didn't know if it was the last time I would see her. Something could go wrong. There's always that chance, but I didn't want to tell her that. It would just ruin the moment. When my plane finally arrived at the gate, I hugged my mother goodbye and told her that I loved her. With tears clouding her vision and a forced smile, she told me, "Be careful. I love you more." With that, I handed the flight attendant my ticket and walked through the gates. My first flight was a short one from Pittsburgh to Washington, only taking 1 hour and 15 minutes total. When I arrived in the Dulles International Airport in Washington, I had approximately 2 hours before my next flight left. I grabbed some dinner and took a seat at the gate where my plane would be departing. I phoned my family, Brooke, Jarrett, and Dave, to tell them goodbye and thank them for their consistent support. My flight from Dulles left at 5:29 p.m. EST. It was scheduled to be a 7-hour and 36-minute flight, arriving in the Amsterdam airport at 7:05 a.m. CET. It was my first international flight, and I didn't know what to expect. The plane was a lot bigger than my previous flights. My seat was located near a window at the back of the plane. On the back of every seat was a small screen that had the option to play movies, television shows, or an overview of the map. I was pretty amazed by the amount of effort that the airplane put into making the flight an enjoyable experience. An hour after departure, I was served a delicious tray full of chicken, pasta, mashed potatoes, and a little brownie for dessert. After finishing my meal, I began to feel very tired. It was almost 7 p.m. EST, and according to my newly revised circadian rhythm, it was bedtime. I reclined my chair in a comfortable resting position, plugged my headphones into my iPod, and fell asleep listening to classical music.